Acceptance, altruism, definitely. Starlight, good morning, come in.
Sorry I'm late. I got a little turned around. I still can't believe you're letting me stay here as your pupil after everything I did.
Well, I'm not one to dwell on the past, and neither should you. The castle is your home now, and as far as being my pupil goes, I was just trying to figure out what your first friendship lesson should be.
So if Season 5 was a purpose that they gave Twilight, and that purpose was Starlight Glimmer, then I believe that Season 6 was the shift in role for Twilight. She went from student to teacher. She went from herself to Celestia. She was moving from who she was, which was a learner, to who she was going to be, which was a teacher, or more bluntly, a ruler, the ruler of Equestria. And with the Season 6 opener, the shift in focus happened twofold. It shifted from Twilight being that student to a teacher, and it introduced Starlight as the new Twilight, essentially, the new student, the new learning one. And this season did a really good job of that, I think. It finally, we had purpose for Twilight again. She was instructing like Celestia was instructing, and we were following a new protagonist with her own set of problems. And this, to me, made both characters stronger.
The spell failed. I don't know what else to do.
Essentially, what we have here is Twilight's first failure as far as being relied on by Celestia. But it's not failure. What it is Celestia never solved problems herself. Obviously. She didn't do anything. She relied... Not that she didn't do anything. She did things, but she relied on Twilight to be the one to fix the issues. Since Twilight is now in Celestia's position as the teacher, she has to rely on her student to fix the problem. And Starlight is the one who brought Sunburst and who was like, I think I have someone who can fix this. So it's essentially the same. It's kind of a weak... I'm not saying that's great writing, because it's not, but it's kind of the same. I'll rely on Starlight. Starlight will find the solution, and then she does, and then that is the same dynamic that Celestia and Twilight had. Starlight and Twilight now have.
First lesson of the day, we very carefully set the table without using magic, so that... Did you? How? When? What? What? I said no magic. You were supposed to do it by hoof so I could work in a friendship lesson.
Oh, I heard set the table and just kind of went for it.
Well, if you hadn't used magic, you'd have heard me say, this plate represents your head, this spoon is your heart, and the knives are sharp. Always be careful with knives. The metaphors make more sense when you're actually setting the table.
Should I change it back?
I just want to make sure you're ready for this dinner. Princess Celestia will be joining us tomorrow night to see how the friendship lessons are going.
If it's just you, me, and Princess Celestia, why are there 4 seats?
Well, the whole point is for you to bring a new friend. That way the princess will see for herself just how far you've come. And how good a teacher you have.
Well, I can't choose. I like all your friends.
That's the best part. You have to make a new friend.
New friends? Hey, maybe I'll just force friendships by magically enslaving the entire population of Ponyville!
Starlight?
Kidding!
No Second Prances is a great episode of, I believe, what the writers were trying to illustrate with Twilight. This previous scene really shows the issue of Twilight now being a teacher. So with Celestia, she's already like around for 1,000 years. She's incredibly wise. She is the princess of Equestria. She's been it for a long time. And Twilight now taking on a role similar to hers, especially with a student like Starlight, who is absurdly talented at magic. It's a funny dynamic because Twilight can't just do things easily. Starlight is too far advanced on her magic, and she's very bad at friendship. So Twilight is kind of stuck in a corner, and this gives Twilight really, really fun development, because she has to learn how to be a teacher now. She was a student, and you don't really learn how to be a student, and now she has to learn how to become the teacher that Celestia is. And this episode really illustrates that really well.
Ahem. You just decided to skip our dinner without telling me? Are you aware that at this very moment, Princess Celestia is waiting for you at a table with exquisite silverware placement?
Yes, but
This is exactly why I didn't want you to make friends with Trixie.
Ah! Ha! You still don't trust me. But guess what, princess? It doesn't matter if you want to give me a second chance or not. Starlight had to choose between you and me. And she chose me. Your pupil chose me. So, I win.
you win? That sounds like you just made friends with me to beat Twilight.
Exactly. Wait! No! I got caught up in the moment. I like you. Beating Twilight is just a bonus. Oh, saying that didn't help, did it?
I should have known. No pony else in Ponyville wanted to be my friend. Why would you?
Wait! It's not like that! I am your friend. Oh.
Well, you won. I hope you're happy.
This scene is especially important for both Twilight and Starlight, but especially Twilight because it does things that we never would have gotten prior if Twilight had not taken on this role and if Starlight had not become her pupil. Twilight would never choose anything over Celestia. That has been shown pretty much in the entire series, that Celestia is priority number one for Twilight, all the time. She does everything for Celestia. She is fearful of failing Celestia, all of this stuff. And Starlight choosing Trixie over Twilight shows the student choosing someone other than the teacher, which never would have happened in Twilight's case. And the second thing that this scene really does really interesting is the fact that we see Twilight fail as a teacher. We never see Celestia fail as a teacher or a guider of Twilight because Celestia, again, is that being that has been around for 1,000 years and is incredibly wise. With Twilight, we see her fail as a teacher because she's a brand new teacher. She's barely learning how to teach and how to guide Starlight. And again, none of this would have been possible if Starlight had not become Twilight's pupil. So again, with this new purpose of Twilight becoming the teacher and the new role of it, we're getting to see interesting things that we never got to see prior in the story.
Starlight, when I first came to Ponyville, Princess Celestia gave me room to make my own decisions and my own friends. I need to give you the same freedom. I shouldn't have tried to pick and choose your friends for you. Just like me, you have to make your own decisions and your own friends.
But what if Trixie really was using me just to one-up you?
From what I've seen, she's the real thing. But it's not my place to judge. It's all up to you.
And there you have it. Twilight is teaching Starlight what it means to be a good friend and how to choose friends, and she is being the teacher that she needs to be. Usually, prior, we had Twilight writing lessons to Celestia, showing things that she learned about friendship. This is Twilight learning things about friendship and also teaching them to her student, which is double the story, if you will, double the good the good storytelling. And it really strikes me as funny that this is a Trixie Starlight episode, essentially, and Twilight still is very, 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 very focused on, because like I said before, I honestly believe that Starlight and her development is literally tied to Twilight and her development.
Skip Hearthwarming Eve?
I just find it all a little silly. It's mostly a day dedicated to presents and candy, isn't it?
And why would you deny yourself presents and candy? That's crazy talk.
I think what Spike means to say is hearthwarming is about more than presents and candy. It's a time to spend with friends and family when we celebrate a very important day in Equestria's history.
I think to most ponies, it's just an excuse for silly songs and fun, not a day to remember some old story.
Maybe you just haven't heard the right Hearthwarming Eve story yet.
Earth ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns sing songs around a hearth to fight back an eternal winter caused by the mythical Wendigos. Every foal in Philly knows that story.
Not that one. My favorite holiday story, A Hearthwarming Tale.
Even this episode has a parallel to Twilight when she was learning as a student. Essentially, the line you can draw here is Starlight is, even in this part, she's like probably going to go and study or do something having to do with magic, not friendship or family. And even in this episode, Twilight is telling this story to Starlight to illustrate to her what friendship and family and stuff like that is, which is something that Starlight is still learning again as a student and Twilight is teaching. And again, these themes happen throughout this season because that is clearly what the writers were trying to do.
I've prepared a full day of spells. You've been doing great, but now it's time for a real challenge.
Oh, it is on. Where do we begin?
Teleportation. Multiple locations. Try to keep up. Transfiguration. Shields.
I am on fire! What's next?
Maybe there is such a thing as too much studying.
Once again, we're getting scenes that we never got between Celestia and Twilight. We're getting those scenes between Twilight and Starlight. Here we're getting the hands-on instruction of magic from Twilight to Starlight. It's arguable if Starlight even needs that at this point, because clearly she's busted at magic, but we never got to see stuff like that with Celestia and Twilight. We got the instruction on friendship from Celestia to Twilight, but with the introduction of Starlight, we're getting to see magic being taught. And it's really good up to a point. Unfortunately, the writers mess up soon after.
It seems your apology went well.
I'm just lucky to have such understanding friends. But it's probably gonna be a while before I try to tackle those friendship lessons again.
What do you mean? You've been doing them all day.
What are you talking about? I've been cleaning up the mess I made by totally failing at friendship.
Really? But didn't I see you sewing with Rarity?
Yes, but
And you and Applejack did a great job collecting those photos and putting them in the book. Helping animals with Fluttershy, baking with Pinkie Pie. Those sound like your assignments to me. In fact, I think there's just one that you're missing.
sun, check. Chairs, check. And thanks to a simple Catadupa Levitata spell, we've got water. Is that everything we need to chillax?
Nope.
No. What did I miss?
Quiet. Oh, right. Great job, Starlight. Looks like you've completed another friendship lesson. Hey! She completes the lesson when I say she completes it. So less learning and more chillaxing.
So, how long do we sit quietly?
We get this scene, and it basically ties the entire season and everything that they're doing with Twilight and Starlight here. So, it's a mirror. Season 1, 2, Twilight, season whatever Twilight, beginning Twilight, was like, I don't need friends, I need magic. And Celestia was like, friends will make you stronger. So, what we're getting here is a busted Starlight whose magic is absurdly powerful, and Twilight being like, you need to focus on friends. That will make you stronger. And that is what ends up making Starlight stronger. The issue is how quickly this happened. And I'll get into that in a moment.
Starlight? What happened?
We defeated the changelings with no magic at all. They found a new leader, and they're all kinda good now.
Well done, Starlight Glimmer.
And there you have the big point of the entire 6th season. Starlight says it herself. They set it up so that they couldn't use magic against Chrysalis. And Starlight and her friends overcome Chrysalis through friendship and working together. And that is basically the entire point of all of MLP. All of Friendship is Magic. And that makes sense. But this happened way too soon. All they end up doing is creating a situation in which they don't know what to do again. And Starlight has a rival now. That's it. Unfortunately, don't get me wrong. Season 7 is possibly my favorite season of MLP. It is by far one of the strongest. But it's also the start of just a whole mess of issues pertaining to everything. Pertaining to Twilight, pertaining to Starlight, pertaining to too many characters that just have no purpose being characters, to just all of these messes. And unfortunately, I think that Twilight is all downhill from here.
Yes, Starlight is Student of the Year, isn't she? She has so much potential. So, what are we going to do with her? And by we, I definitely mean you, being her mentor and all that. Her destiny falls squarely on your haunches.
Oh, don't you worry. I've planned enough friendship lessons to cover the next 3 years. What's so funny?
No. Clearly Starlight is beyond basic friendship lessons. She just won a medal for Equestria's sake. I thought you were joking. You are joking, right?
It's incredibly ironic, but this scene with Discord and Twilight is so very telling that it's depressing. Essentially, they went too fast. And the writers are acknowledging that they went too fast. Discord is literally like, you have 3 more years of friendship lessons? Starlight already did this. And that is true. Starlight should not have saved everything in the end of the last season. She shouldn't have already done such a big world-altering thing. And instead of getting like 2 to 3 seasons out of Starlight developing as Twilight's pupil, we got a single season of Starlight developing as Twilight's pupil. And then now what happens is we basically get a regression of Twilight's character back to a learner. And Starlight is teaching her things, which is fine. But the issue becomes, if Starlight is teaching Twilight things now, then it has to add up to something. Because when Twilight was teaching Celestia things, or Celestia said, now it's time for us to learn to you, Twilight became a princess. Therefore, Starlight, if she is teaching things to a princess, then she should also become something greater. She doesn't have to become a princess, but she has to attain something. She has to be growing bigger. And you could say, well, she becomes the head mayor of the school. But the school is nonsense. The Young Six coming in is nonsense. They introduce all of these characters. They introduce all of these concepts because they're kind of just bumbling around, the writers, for something to stick. And I guess none of it did, because eventually we just ended up with the series being over.
You switched their cutie marks? The actual princess's cutie marks?
I thought we moved past this. It was the right call. I hope.
Are you okay in there?
I'm good. Just, reading an exciting book. He's gonna think I'm nuts.
He's not the only one.
Don't get me wrong. The end of Celestial Advice is adorable, and Starlight staying with Twilight and continuing to be her student, essentially, is great. But nothing comes of it. We get this scene. This is the first scene really after. This isn't even a lesson from Twilight. It's the cutie map sending Starlight to do this mission. Twilight is freaking out, and Starlight is doing the correct thing. And the only reason that Starlight is, like, so stressed and bad about it is because Twilight isn't being the wise mentor. She's not like, you know what, Starlight? Trust your instincts. You are correct. They should have their cutie marks switched so they can If Twilight was being the wise mentor that she was already shown to be in the last season, then Starlight would be less stressed and she would be able to perform these things that she needs to perform better. But Twilight regressed somehow, and they turned her into the one who needs to learn the lessons. Like this episode, for example, where at the end, she wants Starlight to tell her everything that happened, because she was like, I don't think you're doing the right thing at all, essentially. And it happens over and over again in this season, ad nauseum.
There you are. Okay, I just left Rarity. I think she's doing better, and... Oh boy. Window staring, huh? Was it that bad at Sweet Apple Acres?
It's bad everywhere. I thought I was doing something good. I thought I was helping. How could our friendship journal have led to so much anti-friendship?
Oh, Twilight, it's not your fault.
Of course it's my fault. If I hadn't had the big idea to make copies, none of this would be happening. I'm afraid I made life awful for my friends.
I really think you're being too hard on yourself.
Am I?
Okay, so maybe they are having a hard time with it. That doesn't mean you did anything wrong.
Yes, I did. Releasing the journal was my idea, and it backfired in ways I could never have imagined.
It's not your fault. It's every pony else's. They're just focusing on the wrong things and... Wait here. I've got an idea.
Again, I'm not saying this is bad for the story of MLP or for Starlight as a character. This is great for Starlight as a character. This is one of the reasons that I ship Twilight and Starlight together, because they form such a bond of helping each other that love between them makes perfect sense. They are so close. They bridge the gap from teacher and student into teaching each other and learning from each other, that Starlight seems to be the only one that really can do that for Twilight. And that's why I ship them. That's neither here nor there, though. What I'm saying is this. This is bad for Twilight's character because she's regressed. She went from the student of Celestia to the wiser student of Celestia to the princess of friendship to the princess of friendship that had a pupil of her own to the wise princess of friendship that was directly instructing her pupil. And now in this season, she's back to panicky Twilight that thinks the worst, and someone has to come in and instruct her on the fact that she's wrong. It happens here in this episode where she's clearly wrong, and Starlight is telling her, you are incorrect, these people are psychopaths. She was wrong in a royal problem. Starlight was like, this is what needs to be done, I'm pretty sure. And if Twilight wasn't being so crazy, things would have gotten done and it would have been fine. And then it all culminates in Twilight being incredibly wrong because of being a fangirl.
I'm gonna meet Star Swirl the Bearded. You know, outside of my dreams.
I can't believe you're actually going through with it.
What do you mean?
I'm all for pushing the envelope, obviously, but this is pretty out there for you, Twilight.
What's out there about saving the most legendary ponies of all time from a thousands-year-old prison?
Well, nothing when you say it like that. Unless the most legendary ponies of all time knew what they were doing, and we shouldn't mess with it.
I'm sure Star Swirl and the Pillars did the best they could back then, but magic has come a long way, mostly because of the work they did.
That's true, and you did get your wings from finishing one of Star Swirl's spells.
Exactly.
But then I messed with one and nearly destroyed the universe, so...
Starlight, Star Swirl the Bearded is the greatest wizard who ever lived. The chance to have him back in Equestria is worth the risk.
You know, it really sucks when writers feel like they have to make really smart characters really, really stupid just for the sake of plot. Clearly, Starlight was correct. Anybody with a brain knows that, and they're just ignoring her because plot. It's essentially Game of Thrones later seasons when Tyrion, who is incredibly smart, just started doing the stupidest crap because the plot needed him to do the stupidest crap. And it sucks that Twilight suffers so much. And it's really funny because I'm starting to see that this is why I like Starlight more than Twilight. Because as the series went on, Starlight continued to elevate, and by the end of the series, she didn't suffer like this, like Twilight is. Twilight is suffering so bad from horrible writing and just being dumb. And unfortunately, it continues even further into the second part of this climax of this season.
That looks like a lot of work.
It is what must be done, and it would be best if we were not disturbed.
I'm sorry, Starlight, but we can't stop the talk. The stakes are too high and we have to...
Banish Stygian to Limbo. I get it.
Who?
Stygian was the name the Pony of Shadows gave up when he turned to darkness.
And I'm just trying to figure out why.
Envy. He wanted more power than he had, and that desire led him down a path from which there is no return.
I know from experience that's not always true. When the map called you six to my village, it was for a friendship problem. Are you sure this is different?
Stygian wants to destroy all that is good in this world. There's no way to befriend a pony like that.
I guess I'm lucky your idol wasn't around when you decided to be my friend. I might have been banished to Limbo too.
Who doesn't love character regression? Who doesn't love Twilight and Starlight building up this relationship of trust for Twilight to just kiss stupid idiot old man Star Swirl's butt for no reason other than to bring the pillars back, who suck and shouldn't even be in the series. This climax sucks so bad. It's so unnecessary. It's so stupid. It makes Twilight literally an idiot. And when you turn your smart characters into stupid characters, you know you're doing something wrong. I have to give the whole gamut of Twilight, unfortunately, which will include parts of the movie. And that sucks because I think the movie is really bad too, and you'll see that on the next video. But this sucks. This kind of character regression for Twilight, who is an amazing character, only to become a stupid fangirl who unquestionably follows Star Swirl because he's Star Swirl. It's just so bad. This is so bad for her character. She's literally being butchered, and it sucks because, like I said, she grew into something and then they just threw her back down the well, and now she has to relearn. She has to learn to trust her friends over Star Swirl, who's literally no one to her. Who literally is no one to her. And that is so unfortunate.
It's funny. I thought meeting my idol would give me all the answers I ever wanted. But instead, I forgot what I already knew. Good thing I had a student of my own to remind me.
Yeah, no effing kidding. This is the moment that, like, I knew Starlight was just better than everyone else, pretty much. Except for maybe the princesses. Because you have stupid idiot Star Swirl glazing the crap out of Twilight. Oh, she taught me this. Oh, she taught me that. Actually, all Twilight did was kiss your butt the entire time. Starlight was like, no, you should do this. No, you should do this. And then Twilight acknowledges it. But she doesn't acknowledge it to the princesses or anybody. She's not like, oh no, I'm not the one who was like, let's save Stygian. I was like, let's do whatever the crap stupid Star Swirl wants to do. But this episode sucks. It's good for Starlight. It's great for Starlight because Starlight is just 100% correct. But the regression of Twilight's character hurts so much. And like, it's really funny because you'd really think, man, they can't screw Twilight any harder than they did in this one. Oh, then they screw her in the next, oh my goodness, wait for the next video.